Welcome to Bonn Capitals Baseball. My name is Brent Kerrigan, and I'm happy to be joined by Angela Beckman, Max Paulus, and Fabian Tasing for a great day of baseball between the Bonn Capitals and the Dohren Wild Farmers. Happy Father's Day to all those fathers listening in, mainly in North America. Different Father's Day over here in Germany, but we know in North America lots of dads are listening, so happy Father's Day to you. After getting through a very fun, very exciting Champions Cup, Bonn found themselves in third place. We'll deal with all of that throughout the game, the Champions Cup and the results and how people played and all of that, but it boils down to this. Bonn's not guaranteed a spot in that Champions Cup next year, and they must win a championship this year to get in next year. So that's what the aim is, of course, every season is to win the championships, but we need to get through this game first. Playing the Dohren Wild Farmers, as I said, and Bonn utterly destroyed them earlier this year, and I think one game was 29-3, but Dohren's played better since then, and they're 7-11 on the season. As for Bonn, they have 17 wins and only one loss. On the hill for Bonn today is Mars Wilhelm. He's pitched, 17 innings this year. He's got a 2 wins and 0 losses record, 16 punch-outs with a 1.53 ERA. This is an interesting fact, has not walked anybody yet this season, so we'll be looking for some of that same consistency in today's game. On the hill for your Dohren Wild Farmers is Jens Wedemeyer. He has pitched 18 innings this year, 27 walks, 26 strikeouts. He has a 0-4 record, so he'll be looking to change that today. He's got an ERA of very lofty 13.25 on the season. Now, team ERA for the Dohren Wild Farmers, as you can imagine, is not great. It's about 6.25. That means they give up an average of 6 runs a game. Let's go through some of those lineups as they approach the field, the Wild Farmers. Yannick Bruhala will be leading off, followed by Wester Bossio, Edvardius Matasovicius, Orlando Del Murio, Maike Emke, Primislav Paulak, Tim Notke, Alejandro Giraldo, and Tilio Bade will round out that part of the order, and we will get to the Bonn lineup as soon as we swap innings. Umpires behind the plate. Johan Schultke is behind the plate. First base is Kevin Musisch. Third base is Dirk Biel. And we are ready to go as Mars Wilhelm looks in at his catcher. Here comes the first pitch of the game. And it's outside. It's a bit of a cooler temperature than I think a lot of people were expecting. I think the forecast called for some more hot weather, but it's not too bad today. Little bit of a wind, more in the infield than in the outfield. You'll see those flags hanging limply out in the outfield. Umpire going over that scorecard once again. Fans trickling in. Everybody's trying to get things back in order after the Champions Cup, and of course, lots of excitement here in a couple of fields for that last championship. Right, 1-0 count, outside.
Yeah, so we have just seen Wilson Lee coming into the game in the outfield. I think it was Zach Dodson before.
That's correct.
In order to get enough games for the playoffs.
Indeed. You only have to be announced, I assume, at the beginning of the game. Or at least make an appearance, I should say, as a strike comes in. So what do you think, Angela? These Dohren Wild Farmers weren't looking too good the last time we saw them, but their record seems to indicate they've gotten a bit better.
Yeah, they really made a better appearances over the last 4 or 5 games.
Right.
So we will see how good they are today. I mean, the last game against us was devastating. It was 29-3. So
indeed. I think there's combined in those 2 games 40-something runs as a fly ball into about the warning track. He grabs that. Wilson Lee does, and that is one down for the Wild Farmers. And that'll bring up Wester Bossio. He is the center fielder for the Wild Farmers. He's hitting .353, one of the better hitters on the team. Left-handed batter. Fields have fields are looking good as always, but you can see a little wear and tear on them after a very busy week.
Yeah, the first 2 days were so wet, and that was the reason that you see a lot of this red sand here into the lawn. It was a lot of work.
And a chopper on the first two, not quite in time. Edistumbo was playing a bit deep in the infield. So, 1 on for the Wild Farmers. That's Bosio. That'll bring up Edvardas Matasvicius.
Yeah, Edvardas Matucevicius.
I think I see the
one of the interesting names for Brent Kerrigan.
Yes, I've tried to go over them a few times today, Angela, because I knew this was a challenging pronunciation team. Bosio takes his lead at first base. So that pitch comes in outside. I just saw the former mayor of Bonn walk by. He's attending today's game. He's just out of sight underneath the building here from which we announce. Bosio takes his lead, 1 out. No score here. Early parts of the game. And a hit into center left. It's to come in and it bounces in front of Michelli. And 2 on, just like that for Wilhelm. Michelli thought about maybe taking a run at that one, but smartly pulled up. It's early in the game, and not sure if he would have gotten to it anyway. 2 on, 1 out. To the plate is Orlando Del Muro, the third baseman. Bosio at second. Matsvicius at first. Swing and a miss. Number 34 is Orlando Del Muro. He's hitting .267 on the season as the cleanup hitter. As a team, the Wild Farmers are only hitting .241. That's about second last, I think. But another hit in the same place almost into center left. Michelli comes over, throws it on to second. And the bases are loaded here in the top of the first inning for the Dohren Wild Farmers. Wilhelm being challenged early. Good Michelli to hold him. Bosio on third base. Throw comes into second as it should. Was quick on the play. Sacks are full for Mayak MK. He's the first baseman for the Wild Farmers, hitting .283. Big lead by Bosio at third. It's going to throw down. Vinny Aarons was, but nobody out there to take that throw. Schultz playing off the bag. Sorry, that's Lankhorst. Yeah, Sanchez, sorry, Angela. Oh, and fumbled at first base. Run comes home and scores. So Wild Farmers draw first blood as Bosio comes across the plate to score. Liam Hunt bobbled that one at first base, but kept it in the infield. Bases are still loaded. As Matsvicius comes down to third, Orlando Del Muro is at second, and MK is at first. Przemysław Pawlik, he's the catcher. He's batting .185 in the season. Wearing number 51. Right, that's Sanchez down at third base. You're right, Angela. Foul back. It's been a bit of a break for me too. You guys are doing the Champions Cup, and we had some negotiations at work for 2 weeks. So it's been a while for me too. Foul back.
Yeah, it has been a while. I mean, we had like 4 games on that Thursday. We had 6 games per day, so that kept us quite busy. So
absolutely, maybe in the bottom of the first weekend, let's cover that Champions Cup. Boy, tricky situation right now with the bases loaded, and that ball gets by the catcher Aarons, and a run comes in to score. So that's 2-0 now for the Wild Farmers. Didn't see this coming maybe right off the top of the game, Angela.
No, me neither. Normally, Maurice Wilhelm, does not let runners come through very often.
Indeed, and one has to wonder. I mean, I know the team hasn't practiced in the last week, and probably rightfully so. I mean, they've had such a number of games. Max Schmidt was just up here talking about that. He said, just let them play. So, maybe some rust? Who knows? High fly ball into shallow left. Brent comes over and grabs it. Runners hold. That's 2 out now. So Brent had to go way over to his back right. Just shallow left field. Nice catch. Number 44 comes to bat, Tim Nolke. Two on. Runner at second base is Del Muro. Mike MK is at Patel Muro was at third. MK is at second. Right, got it now. Swing and a miss. 0-2 is the count. And a pitch outside. It's a great day to play baseball, though, Angela. It was so hot yesterday.
We are very happy that it's not that hot today.
Yeah. I know a lot of parts of Europe right now are boiling. We're lucky right now. Down to third. Sanchez backhands it, throws it on to first base, and he's out. Put a star by that one. That is a nice play. So, despite that, Wild Farmers bring in 2. We'll be right back. Caps TV scores 2-0 Wild Farmers. Welcome back to Bonn Capitals Baseball. Dohren Wild Farmers took an early lead on 3 hits. They lead 2-0. Here as we go to the bottom of the second, let's get through that Bonn lineup for you before Eric Brink steps up to the plate. He is, of course, the first batter. He'll be followed by Wilson Lee. Danny Sanchez batting third. Joe Schultz is the cleanup batter. Daniel Lamb Hunt, of course, at first base today, as he always is. Vinny Aarons is the number 6 hitter. Danny Lankhorst, Eddie Stummel, Nick Michelli will round out the order. Pitcher, as we said earlier, is Jens Vedemeyer. He has an 0-4 record. Looking for his first win today. He's got a very high ERA, earned run average, of more than 13. So Bonn will be looking to get a few hits early here, I would imagine. Eric Brink steps up the plate. 402 average. As always, top of the order. And that pitch comes in for a strike. Very matter-of-fact overhand delivery by Vedemeyer. as that wind picks up and blows into center field. Lift one in the air, might carry a bit for you. Bounces one in. Fans trickling in.
I think they are tired as well, so.
There is a bit of a hangover effect I'm noticing, and I mean everybody is super tired.
Normally on a Sunday afternoon we have more fans coming in, so.
It was such a.
But it's also a long weekend, so because we had this public holiday on Thursday, so.
That's right. And how are you feeling? You were here the whole time and extra hours, of course.
Yeah, I'm recovered now. In the meantime.
So what goes into, from our end of things, Angela, maybe people don't understand what goes into covering an entire tournament.
Everything. I mean, you organize the transportation of teams, you organize hotels, you organize food, you organize volunteers, you organize the games, the game balls. Yeah, you organize everything around it.
All right, well, let's talk as that he loses Brang to a walk there. So first guy on. Bringing up Wilson Lee. What about upstairs? I wasn't here for this. What about announcing the games? What about organizing the cameras and that sort of thing?
Yeah, we had our live stream crew, and we added Max Paulus' brother Tom. He did a lot of commentating, which he did very good. And we had some guest speakers, so to speak, coming in, like André Daubier or Ole Tangen, some guys who normally don't do it.
And a high fly ball into right field. Right fielder's got to come in. He's got it, no problem. As Brent goes, Brent got a pretty good lead between first and second, and he got back. I think a throw, if there had been a first baseman there, he might have had a chance, but nobody was home. No, and of course, it's not, you don't just show up at the park and the cameras are all set up. And I don't want to belabor the point, but a lot of work goes into these tournaments, and I'm very glad everybody enjoyed it. But yes, indeed, a lot of work goes on behind the scenes as well.
Actually, the problem that we had with the cameras was that the first 2 days it was raining all the time.
Right.
And our equipment got wet, so we had some problems with some of the cameras, or especially with the equipment. So we brought it up here and dried it for 2 hours. So
what, with towels and the old-fashioned way? Challenges. 1 week it's too rainy, 1 week it's too hot.
Yeah, as I said, I mean, you can see on the field around home plate, you can see it was very wet.
But you saw some great baseball too.
Absolutely. Best European teams, and it's a pity that Bonn didn't reach the finals, because it was a tight game in the semifinals against Parma, who at the end won the championship.
Indeed. If you're going to lose, I suppose you want to lose to the ones who eventually win. Lose against the best. So no one count here. Throw over to first, Brank back. Brank's twice as tall as I am, so he just leans over and he's got first base back in his hands. But yes, so Bonn came in third place, and
which is pretty good. I mean,
good.
when you see all the good teams from Italy and from
down to third base, bobbles it, throws on to second. He's got the runner at second, on to first too late, so Brank's out at second. And so one out, as you were saying, it's a good placing. But now let's talk about those implications for next year, though. Well, immediately for this year, it means Bonn must win the championship in order to get into that tournament again.
Yeah, the reason is that we had 2 German teams in the Champions Cup, and Heidenheim was not able to really get the important victory at the end. So they had the last place, and last place means you go down to the Confederations Cup. And that is not Heidenheim itself, it's the German spot. So that means Germany has only 1 spot next year in the Champions Cup. And the 1 spot is for the German champion.
Right, and there were some players that played very, very well for Bonn. And one of the names that keeps popping up, at least from what I've read, was Langhorst.
Absolutely. I mean, this was, for me, a bit of surprise, because
right.
he's normally not one of our power hitters. I mean, he always has his hits, but not one of the power hitters. But he did very, very well. and he was the best hitter of the Capitals in the tournament.
All right, 1-1 count here. 2 out, 2-0 for the Wild Farmers.
And we have John Schultz here up. John Schultz didn't play in the Champions Cup because you are only allowed to have 3 overseas spots in the Champions Cup, and Bonn has more than 3 in its roster. So John Schultz was not able to play.
Sure, that didn't feel so great. He'll be fresh for this game. I guess of all the players, he's probably one of the freshest. With the runner first, there goes Sanchez. It was a pitch out. It looked to me, but Sanchez is in there, no problem. 3-1 the count now to Schultz. So nice stolen base there. Had a very good lead. I think what happened was that the pitcher saw out of the corner of his eye that Sanchez was going and then threw that pitch high. Sort of a semi-pitch out, I suppose. Sanchez still taking a big lead down at second. Nobody's on him. Hit down between first and second. A single, and Sanchez rounds third on his way home. Throw down. He's safe. Catcher thought he had him, but I don't think he got him in time. I think that was the right call in that play. Umpire was right on top of it. So an RBI for John Schultz. As we said, he's feeling fresh.
Yeah, he's anyway one of our best hitters this season.
Indeed. 615 average. I'll bring up your friend and mine, Daniel Lamhunt.
Who also did very well hitting-wise at the Champions Cup. He had 8 hits in 5 games.
Yeah, that always seems to be the sentence that follows Lamhunt. He did very well in XXX game, etc. No, he's so reliable year in and year out. Runner at first base is Schultz. 2 out, 2-1 the score. That ball's low and inside. And then Parma beat Amsterdam 7-6 in the final. I heard that was a great game.
It was a very tight game. I mean, I expected Amsterdam to be a bit stronger because offensively they were so strong during the tournament. And they had a 6-4 lead, but then they lost it at the end. I mean, Parma was the defending champion, of course, very strong team, you know. So
Yes.
It was a big Italian party afterwards.
Sounds good. And that's inside. Just under the elbow. 2-1 the count. So how were the fans, Angela? Did you get a lot of people out for? I assume the finals had a good turnout, etc. But what about throughout the week?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 days with rain, of course, not many people.
Ball gets by the catcher and down to second. Go Schultz.
During the rain, but in the first day, the evening game of the Bonn Capitals was cancelled. So, of course, there were no fans. So.
Yeah.
But the other days, when the Capitals were playing, we had a good turnout of people.
Great.
And the good thing is the Capitals played for 3rd place on Saturday afternoon, and the people stayed for the finals, which is nice, you know,
Yes,
because
for
it was
sure.
no German team on the finals. But the stadium was still pretty full.
Pitch, Lemon was on top of that one, you could see. Well, no, it's good. I mean, I think Bonn has, yes, of course, they want to see the home team win, but Bonn has pretty knowledgeable baseball fans and want to stick around for a good game, and that's great that they got one for the final. And we still have our finals at the end of the year coming up. Lots of baseball to be played yet. And a dribbler back to the pitcher. Scoops it up and on to first, and that'll end the inning. But not before 1 run comes through for Bonn. So 2-1 is the score now as we head to the top of the second. We'll be right back on Caps TV. Welcome back to Bonn. 2-1 is the score for the Wild Farmers over the Capitals. Here in the top of the second inning at the plate, we have Alejandro Giraldo. He is the shortstop for the Wild Farmers. Wearing number 40 and batting 140, he launches one into left field. Is that going to stay in fair territory? Well, Michelli grabs it regardless. I think he grabbed that in fair territory, just on the line. 1 out. 1 pitch, 1 out. And the number 9 hitter comes up. Thilo Bade. Thilo. Not Thilio. So far, Wild Farmers 3 hits for 2 runs, and Bonn has 1 hit and 1 run. As Max Paulus makes his grand entrance, fresh from inspecting the traffic on our nation's Autobahn, and a strikeout for Wilhelm. Traffic's bad, Max? Yeah. Coming in from Koblenz, I suppose if you're driving, heads up. Airport's busy, roads busy, trains busy, everybody's on the move. Shows bunt on 2 outs. This never fails to to interest me, let's put it that way. Big chopper, foul though, on third base side. So fly out to left field to begin the inning, and then Bade struck out for Wilhelm's first strikeout of the game, and that brings up Yannick Buchala. He's the left fielder for the Wild Farmers. That's the top of the order. If we get to him, he'll be followed by Westabosio. That's outside, 1-1. It's been a hot few days in Bonn, but I think some rain is on the way to help out the field a bit as well. Nope.
I want the rain tonight, not now.
Yes, weather gods, Angela, have spoken. You've heard. Now heed. But no, I think listen, I come from a farm family, so the weather's always on top of our minds. We could use a rain. I think I've heard that a billion times throughout my life. But I think it's true here and throughout Europe. And a solid hit into center field for the leadoff hitter, Buchala. So with 2 out, they get a runner. That'll bring up Osio. Mr. Bosio is hitting .365 on the season after his single in the last inning. Buchala takes his lead at first. And a chopper fair just past Sanchez, who was on third base, sneaking over a bit to the shortstop side, and it was a little snug to the base. That hit, so 2 on with 2 out all of a sudden for the Wild Farmers. That'll put Buchala on second and Bosio at first base, bringing up Matis Vicius. He's the DH. He's hitting .386 on the season, and he also had a single in the first inning. So Wilhelm's had to pitch himself out of a jam a few times already today. Finds himself in a bit of one now, but with 2 out. That's Vicius. Number 72 cuts an imposing figure at the plate. Comes in for a strike, 0-1. 5 hits already for the Wild Farmers, only 1 for Bonn. Bonn has an error in today's game as well. Buchala takes a big lead at second, swing and miss. Buchala's not covered at all. Not with 2 out. See a New York Mets jersey and hat in the audience today. Those fans are feeling their oats this year. The 2 New York teams, sadly, doing very well. destroying the Blue Jays in the last game. The Yankees did. I hate to admit it, but it's true. It was a poor showing. Another chopper. Fair on third base side. And they say it's foul. That looked fair to me, but foul it is. Still thinking about my Blue Jays. Maybe my perception is altered. Still say it's fair. Anyway, not umpiring the game. 2-1 is the score. 2 out. That's a strike, and that'll end the inning. Strikeout, 2 strikeouts for Wilhelm, but 2 hits as well. As we head to the bottom of the second, it's 2-1 Wild Farmers. We'll be right back on Caps TV. Welcome back to Bonn, where the score is 2-1 Wild Farmers. As we head to the bottom of the second inning, in this inning, ladies and gentlemen, you have Vinny Ahrens, Danny Lankhorst, Eddie Stummel, and if we get to him, Nick Michelli, which I think we will. I just have a feeling. Vinny Ahrens is your leadoff batter. He's hitting .275 on the season. Had a really hot start to the season. As he digs in. Come on down to the ballpark if you want. It's free to get in, of course. Very nice price. If you're at home listening, wondering if it's already full, well, it's not full. It's got lots of people here, but there's room to grab some good food, too. Maybe some merch. Pitch on the way. 1-1. If you missed the Champions Cup, well, look, there's still lots of baseball to be played this year. Perfect weather for it. Hot everywhere else. Perfect here in Bonn. We ordered it up just for you. A bunt. Lays one down. Nice bunt. Just past the pitch, and he bunts for a single. Look, kids, if you're watching the game, that's how you do it. That's how you put down a bunt. Just out of reach of the pitcher, and too much in front of the third baseman for him to get to it. Very, very nice job by Ahrens. Danny Lankhorst. He of the hot-hitting Danny Lankhorst variety for the Champions Cup, number 37, your center fielder. Hitting .296 on the season now. He's got a home run, 14 RBIs. He's only struck out 7 times, 3 stolen bases. He's your all-around player. Let's see if he can carry the momentum from the Cup through the games to come. Ahrens takes his lead at first. As the fans request another run. That pitch comes in low, 1-0. Sorry, 2-0. Lankhorst scored 14 times this season. 5 hits for the Wild Farmers, only 2 for the Capitals so far. And the delivery. That comes in for a ball. 3-0. on the way. He walks him on 4 straight pitches. So 2 on, just like that for Bonn. Nobody out in the inning. And that's going to bring up Eddie Stummel. .421 hitter. Nice average for a number 8 hitter in your lineup. Of course, fan favorite, Eddie Stummel. Number 42. In the other game going on at this time, Tübingen is leading Mannheim 2-1. Some interesting scores yesterday. Regensburg beat Ulm 16-5. Where was the one I was looking for? Stuttgart lost to Heidenheim 7-4. But I think, in the first game, they beat Heidenheim 7-5. Heidenheim not having a great season, and
No,
or
they
not
have
compared to their
they have already 7 losses now, so they will definitely not get the first number 1 spot, because that is with Regensburg, and that's for sure.
Yeah, Regensburg is playing very well this year. 2-1 the score here, but Bonn has 2 on. Nobody out. And pitcher turns around. They've got Ahrens in a rundown between second and third. Throw back to second, and he drops the ball. Ahrens goes to third. So talk about a lucky break after being picked off second base, essentially, for Ahrens. So the third baseman ran back towards second, threw the ball to the second baseman, and the second baseman dropped the ball, and Lankhorst was already at second, standing on the base. All hands are safe in the end. Second and third are Lankhorst and Ahrens, and still nobody out. So all of this, by the way, was the bunt is what started all of this off. So that nice bunt gets us to a place where we have runners on second and third. Just shows you the power of a good bunt.
Little outside.
Little outside. No, nobody seemed to like that call except for the pitcher, perhaps. Yeah, good bunt to lead things off. Can't stand a bunt. I don't know why I see it here on 2 strikes or 2 outs. It just happens here. In any case. Foul back. 1-2 the count. Nobody out. Yeah, Ahrens was caught not necessarily sleeping out there, but wasn't expecting Vedemeyer to, I think, have that pickoff move. Oh, and Stummel pops it up to the shortstop. I was wondering if that'd get over his head. It does not, and now we have 1 out, and that'll bring up Nick Michelli. And I'm going to take this opportunity. Nick Michelli requested that we say a happy Father's Day
To Tom Michelli.
to Tom Michelli. So, Tom Michelli, happy Father's Day to you from your son. And, of course, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there in North America. And why not here in Germany? You can have 2 days to yourself. So Michelli comes in with 1 out and is welcomed with a pitch that sails over his head, and Ahrens comes in to score. 2-2 is the score here in Bonn now. As Lankhorst comes down to third base. Nick Michelli hitting .257 on the season. And that's a strike, 1-1. Michelli has 6 RBIs on the season. He's walked 14 times. Good eye at the plate, obviously. 1 stolen base. Only 5 strikeouts. That comes in outside. Hits better against righties than he does lefties. Chopper down to shortstop. Third baseman grabs it. A big roll. No, actually, that was the shortstop who came across to get that. And, Lankhorst comes in to score on that play. There is no play at first base. And Michelli gets himself another RBI. And that'll turn the lineup over. Eric Brank. So 3-2 now the score for Bonn. Want to know the count? I know Eric Brank's dad listens to the games as well, so happy Father's Day to you too. I mean, again, happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yeah, to Bob. It goes to Bob Brank, which is the father of Eric.
Yeah.
So greetings to Bob, who always watches our games.
Yeah, good. And thank you. 3-2 the score here. Bottom of the second inning. Bonn has themselves an inning, and there he goes, and a single, just like that for Brank. Michelli was already on the move to second base. That was a very clean, very nice-looking single by Brank. That'll bring up Wilson Lee. And another one, we were talking about this with Lamb Hunt, and always seems to fall. Boy, he had a good game, and, a number of superlatives will follow. And the description of Lee always, when it comes to games, seems to be very positive. And here's what I dug up before the game, with 2 on and 1 out. So Wilson leads the league in home runs with 5, doubles with 9, total bases with 52 as the pitcher steps off. He also leads with extra base hits with 14, and he also leads the league in RBIs with 30. Not bad. Not too bad, leading in almost.
You mean in 18
categories.
games or so?
Yes, it's impressive. But again, it's the consistency over seasons that also we've come to expect that from him. Not an easy game to play, so to come through each year to do that, that's something. Pitches outside. By the way, Brank, he leads the league with runs with 27 and hits. He's got 33 of those. Fans want more, always hungry for more. I see a young gentleman there with this Bonn Capital Summer Camp t-shirt, and I picked some dates off the web. I'm not sure if there's still spots open, but I just wanted to mention the dates just in case there are. You're going to want to get online to the Bonn Capital's website maybe to check out.
It's the 1st, 3rd, and 5th week of the summer holidays here in North Rhine-Westphalia. Oh, you have the you have the dates?
It right there, Angela.
Good. I have it in mind.
No, thank you. Right. So school must get out here a bit earlier than it does for my kids, because the 27th, my kids are still in school, but I'll tell you. And he loses another one to walk, so Wilson Lee is on first base. That'll move Brank up to second. And that'll move Michelli to third. No camp for us this year, unfortunately. My kids are a little upset about that, but we're off to Mexico and then to Canada, so we'll try and catch some baseball there. Hoping to catch some great games in Mexico City as well. Baseball there, of course. They're baseball crazy. Oh, we got some rain coming down, which is a bit unexpected. Bases loaded, 1 out. Danny Sanchez at the plate. Excellent opportunity for him. He has 15 RBIs in the season, 2 home runs. He's batting .369. You want him in the plate in a situation like this. Hit down to third. Third baseman steps on the bag, throws on to first, bounces in the first, gets by the first baseman. So Michelli comes in to score. Wilson Lee moves down to third. And that will be a force out on Brank. So 2 out now. Lee at third.
We didn't cover our cameras. I hope they can stand it.
Yeah, those are not cheap. So 4-2 the score. John Schultz at the plate. Hit a nice hit in his last at bat. John Schultz, as we said, 630 is his average. He's been a bat 27 times. I mean, it's a little bit of a small sample size, but still, great hitter. Umpire calls that a strike. Look a little outside to me. 1-1 is the count. 2 out, 4-2 the score, bottom of the second. Here in Bonn, where there's a slight rain falling, don't think it's bothering anybody too much. In fact, maybe a little welcome. Helps the crops grow, Max. Two, 1 count. Schultz, a left-handed hitter. And his stats, he's only faced, says here, he's faced Wedemeyer already once, and he has a hit off him, and that was, of course, just in this game. So, not much experience with the pitcher. And he loses him to a walk. So, bases loaded again for Daniel Lamb Hunt. Daniel Lamb Hunt, 338 hitter. He grounded out to the pitcher to end the inning. Last inning, little dribbler down to first base. Not, I would say, typical. Lots of fun on the base paths now. Schultz first. Sanchez at second. Wilson Lee at third. Oof.
Oops.
He almost takes out his coach. And he says, what's going on? Hey, let's be friends.
Yeah, so Daniel Lamb Hunt just needs a clean hit here.
Indeed.
That would score 2 more runs.
Five hits for the Wild Farmers. 4 hits for Bonn now. Each team has committed 1 error. Bounces that one in. He's already thrown a wild pitch to let in 1 run. Of course, he would hate to let another one through. Big lead at second for Sanchez. High pop-up. Is that going to get out of here? Catcher goes back. He's got it. Just at the fence, and that'll end the inning. Leaves the bases loaded, Lamb Hunt does. Ends the inning again. Score is 4-2. We will be right back on Caps TV.
Telekom, die Stadt Bonn, Frankfurt Discher, Käfer Construction, Robinson Malfit, Wolanski Verpackung, Kinopolis, die Firma Tam und Markus Wolf Förderprogramme. Ein recht herzlichen Dank für die Förderung des Bonner Basic Softballsports.
Welcome back to Bonn. The score is 4-2. The Capitals over the Wild Farmers so far. Max and I were just up here talking Major League Baseball, and we were commiserating over the fate of our two teams. Of course, he loves the Angels, the Los Angeles Angels, and I love the Blue Jays. Both are playing just miserably right now. Here, the score is 4-2, and that pitch comes in for a strike on Del Muro, who fouls another one back, so he's in the hole 0-2. Del Muro had a single in the first inning. Yeah, it's sad when you have Mike Trout and, of course, Shohei Ohtani on the team and you're not doing well and you're paying them all that money, but that's the way the breaks go sometimes. Foul. I could live with it if it wasn't the Yankees doing so well. Anybody who listens to this knows my love for the Yankees. And the Yankees fans listening, what can I say to you? What can I say? Well, enjoy it while it lasts is all I can say. Because, good luck, it runs out. And that's all it is, luck, as that pitch comes in outside, 1-2. Luck in, of course, Aaron Judge. Swing and a miss. Woo! Looked like he took 2 swings on that one. And that's the third strikeout of the day, if my count is correct, and it is. Del Muro strikes out MK to the plate. Pitch comes in outside. Mike MK, 278 hitter, struck out 9 times in the season. Chops it down to first base. Down there is Daniel Lamhunt, who grabs it. Locks flowing. Steps on the bag, and that's it for 1 out. 2 out, sorry. After that strikeout, that's 2. Unassisted on that. That brings up Przemysław Paulak. Flew out to left field last at bat. 179 hitter. He's their catcher. We've seen him the last few seasons, of course. Anybody who's followed the games comes to these games. He's a mainstay. He's got 6 strikeouts on the season. He's walked 5 times, 4 RBIs. That's in 28 at-bats. Strikeouts before walks, and the walks are what's getting him. Aaron's up again. We saw him in the last inning. He was caught in that rundown at second base where...
Was not caught.
No. He was caught in a rundown, but managed to get to third base because... Yeah, because the threw back second and dropped the ball. But he chops a single into right field. And just like that, Bonn Capitals have something brewing again here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Brings up Danny Lankhorst. He walked in his last at-bat, one of those 4 walks. Venemeier's thrown 55 pitches already today. It's only the bottom of the 3rd. So, Lankhorst at the plate, Stummel on deck, and Nick Michelli in the hole. An attempted bunt, but that popped up almost back here. Well, the bunt works once, why not try it again? Not a bad idea. Get a few more runs across.
I mean, normally Danny Lankhorst is a good bunter, so...
And a foul. Foul back. You know what I did? I did forget to read those dates on the summer camp. For anybody, again, who wants to get their kids to a summer camp for baseball here with the Capitals. And look, we got some of the players, at least there were last year and the year before when my kids were there. They had the players come out and help out. So the camps, first week from the 27th of June to the 1st of July. That's the first week that they hold it. So you'll have to, if it's not full, you're going to have to act quick on that. That pitch comes in outside. The second camp is from the 11th of July until the 15th of July. And then the final week is from the 25th of July until the 29th. So check out the website, Bonn Capitals. It's there. And it'll have more details of how you register and all that. Third baseman keeps it in front of him, throws on to first base, bounces it, and the first baseman's been having trouble coming up with those balls today. Mind you, he's had to deal with some throws in the dirt, which doesn't help. But Bonn, nobody out. Runners on second and third. Ahrens is the runner at third. Lankhorst at second. Eddie Stummel at the plate. And I speak from experience, just to round out our conversation on the summer camps. Really, really great experience. You do not know how to play baseball. You don't have to know how to play in order to show up. There's lots of kids who show up and they've never even held a bat before. So bring them out. It's a great opportunity to learn. And that comes in high. Girls, boys, both.
Starting at the age of 7.
That's right. And keep baseball alive for many, many years. Get those kids out there. Foul back. And man, they have fun out there. Let me tell you, I remember showing up last year. And maybe show up a little early. Take a little time off work early, sneak out. And you show up and you hang back a bit and you just see the kids laughing. They just have such a great time. Right, 1-1 the count. Pitch on the way. That comes in high. Nobody out, 4-2 the score. Nick Michelli on deck. Eric Brank in the hole. Runner at third, Ahrens. Runner at second, Lankhorst. Oh, and that one definitely got past the catcher. Went right over the batter's head. Two runners coming down. Throw. And the pitcher drops the ball. Vedemeyer drops the ball as the catcher tries to throw back to him. And 2 runs score on one wild pitch. That's something you don't see every day, ladies and gentlemen.
But that's the fast Danny Lankhorst.
Fast, on the ball, heads up. But also, he would have been out if the pitcher would have actually caught the ball. But it was unexpected. You just don't see it happening. But that's what shows you the power of hustle in baseball. Impressive, nonetheless. So that pitch that came in sailed, obviously, just got out of the pitcher's control. Vedemeyer went over the head of the catcher and sort of sauntered back to get it in. Yeah, 2 runs come in. That'll put Eddie Stummel. That is another walk. Puts Stummel down on first base. I can imagine Venemeyer's still a bit shaken from that play. 6-2 is the score. I don't know how you score that. It's not necessarily an error. It's just lack of getting to that ball quickly. Nick Michelli. Foul straight back. Number 19. Michelli, 278 hitter. 7 RBIs in the season, one more than, well, in his last at bat he got one. 1-1 the count. Had a little bit of rain in the last inning, just a sprinkle. not much showing now. High pop-up back. There's a mad scramble for the ball. Takes place by the kids. One and two the count to Michelli. And low again. Stummel at first base. 2 runs have scored this inning. The pitch count now for Wedemeyer continues to climb. He's at 69. High pop-up. That looks like it's heading foul and does. We were saying before that his ERA, earned run average for Wedemeyer, is 13. This shows a bit why. But he's being stymied a bit also by some, I wouldn't say questionable defense, but just doesn't look sharp out there, that team.
Yeah, some luck for the German squad.
Yeah.
The Bonn squad, German.
Yeah.
They are all German.
Exactly. High pop-up into center left. They come together, and they almost collide, but the left fielder grabs it. And Stummel goes back to first base. High pop-up. Make sure there's good communication on that field, or you end up with a little bit of a bump. They look good or look funny on a highlight reel, but awful if you're ever involved in them. 1 or 2 I've been involved with myself. You get chasing that ball, forget that somebody else might be coming in for it, like the center fielder. I played in left field, and a few times lack of communication ended up to 2 people lying flat on the field.
It's dangerous.
It is. And you see it at the major league level still, quite a bit. It's simple as, good communication. That is foul ball. It was right on the line. Wind blowing out to center left. Any players stand out to you in the Champions Cup, Angela, that other than, of course, Langhorst, who played very well for the Capitals?
Yeah, we had the best hitter, Signav Loopstock from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
He had a batting average of 692.
Not bad.
And the good thing is, the best pitcher was Zach Dodson.
Yes. Nice to have him.
Yeah, and Zach Dodson, because he played in 2 games and he put everything in that he has. He earned 1 run, but nevertheless, he has shown how important he is for the team.
Absolutely. Oh, nice to have him back. So where did the players stay, Angela, when they were in Bonn?
At different hotels here in Bonn. We had sent them a hotel list, and they used some of the hotels that we named.
That's good for business here in town as well.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the thing. I know I heard some comments. Hear them from time to time. People are like, oh, it's hard to find parking, within the American compound sometimes. But on the other hand, you get all those people here, and they're buying dinners. They're also going maybe into town. They're spending money. It is money coming into the city as well.
Yeah, just with the teams, we had 240 people here, and then some of the fans from the Netherlands or from Italy. Of course, they stayed overnight here.
Exactly.
And so quite some business for Bonn.
Yes, that's good. It comes
and quite some business for us because for our catering, So. Of course, for us, it's important to sell some food.
Absolutely. This is a business as well, and we, in order to bring the games each week to the fans, you have to be. Oh, and speaking of bad defense earlier, there was another one. That was an easy liner to the third baseman, and it just popped out of his glove. That's clearly an error on that play. That's Del Muro down there at third base. And so now Bonn has runners on first and second and 1 out. That was that was not pretty, that play. That's Brink at first base.
No, he looks a little bit like, I'm not really. I don't like to play today. I'm a little lazy, so.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's not a good look. Wilson Lee at the plate. He's, of course, your right fielder. Eddie Stummel sure likes to get himself a good lead. He's almost. He gets down there. Nobody covering, of course. Half-hearted attempt by the shortstop to get him back, but no, nothing doing. That's a strike.
It was a nice pitch for hitting.
Yep. Wilson Lee wouldn't mind that one back, I bet. Wilson Lee, solid presence at the plate. Good-looking batter. Great swing. Fans want something. Bounces another one in. And the runners move up another 90 feet. So that will put Eddie Stummel on third base and Eric Brink on second. Some struggles in that defensively for the Wild Farmers. They came out strong, hitting, and then the game sort of gotten away from them on the defensive end. 2-1 count, delivery, and that's high. 3-1. Now they walked Wilson Lee in his last at-bat. Sort of gave up on the pitch count, I think, the last few pitches. It wasn't much of an attempt to pitch to him, and maybe rightfully so. Big swing and a miss there, though. Full count now on Lee. Lee, that front foot back. Vedemeyer delivers. Just gets a piece of that one. Fouls it back. Brink at second. Stummel on third. 1 out. 6-2 the score. Bottom of the third inning. Full count now. Opportunity. Ducks on the pond, as they say. Second and third for Lee. Oh, a big swing and a miss, and down he goes. He wanted that. Didn't quite get it. And Vedemeyer gets a strikeout. That's his first for today. Danny Sanchez to the plate now. Danny Sanchez is 0 for 2 on the day. He's got an RBI. It says 0 for 2. He's got a runner and stolen base. 364 average. John Schultz is after him, and then Lamb Hunt if there's enough outs left. And looks like and he comes over and he grabs at the left fielder does. It just hung up in the air a little too long. 6-2 the score. Bonn puts 2 more across as we head to the top of the 4th inning. We'll be right back on Cavs TV.
We're on the top of the 4th inning. 6-2 for the Bonn Capitals.
Who do we have at the plate, Angela? I was stepped out for a second. Let me see. Tim Noke. He's over 1 on the day. We were saying, that's fouled back. We were saying a little bit of sloppy play on both sides. More so, I would say, on the Wild Farmers side. The score reflects that. Everybody's trying to get back into the groove, of course, after the Champions Cup. But they will. I see the fans down there still ordering lots of hamburgers and hot dogs, so they're still on their game. That's good.
Yeah, good that it's not that hot, because if it's too hot, nobody eats burgers.
Yeah, that's right. And a chopper down to first base, and an easy play for Lam Hun. He grabs and steps on the bag, and then just like that, there's one down. That'll bring up Alejandro Giraldo. It's 3 unassisted on that. He flew out to the left fielder in his last at-bat. Not a large presence at the plate. But of course, size matters not in baseball sometimes. 137 average. That comes in outside as well. Where's Wilhelm? Thrown 50 pitches today. 3 innings pitched. 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. Nobody walked. Went around on that one, says the umpire. 1-1. That comes in outside. 2-2. The wind picks up a little bit now. Loses him to a walk. So one on now with 1 out. For Bade. Thilo Bade. He's 0 for 1 today, batting .214 on the season. He's the second baseman. Pitch on the way, and there's a strike. On deck is top of the order, Yannick Buchala and Wester Bossio. Big lead. First base. That's Geraldo. And that's a K. Throw down to first base. They almost get Geraldo. He just stepped back in front of it. Don't think he thought it was coming down, but it did. 2 out now. I think that's 4 strikeouts now for Wilhelm. Indeed, it is. Top of the order, Buchala. That's a strike. He's your left fielder for the Dohren Wild Farmers, who have 5 hits. Bonn also has 5 hits. Difference? Wild Farmers have 4 errors. Bonn has 1. Errors will cost you almost every time. It's almost a maxim in baseball. That hit hangs up a bit into right field, and easy out, no problem for Wilson Lee. And just like that, we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. 6-2 is the score for the Capitals. We'll be back on Caps TV. Zach Dodson, but Schutz has this attitude, and of course Dodson doesn't have that. So we've got to, maybe some people have some ideas. Any case, what we have in Bonn is a 6-2 game, bottom of the 4th inning, and at the plate, guess who, Angela?
John
That's right. John
Schultz.
That's right. And he gets a strike. Now, as always, I want to do a little This Day in Baseball. I know this is Angela's favorite part. Add a little spice, a little background, a little trivia for you. Well, trivia is next inning, but as that goes down to first baseman, the first baseman got that one. That didn't always happen today. Not to be cynical. Right. So Schultz is out on a 3 unassisted play. Today in baseball history, in 1903, Lou Gehrig was born. 1938, Babe Ruth is signed as a Dodgers coach for the rest of the season. He is in uniform for batting demonstrations the following day. I think the Babe got a bad ride in the last part of his career. He wasn't treated very well from what I read. Daniel, of course, has done that twice in the game now. This little pool shot.
Daniel Lampunt.
Sorry, Daniel Lampunt has this little pool shot out to the pitcher and onto first base, suffering from maybe a little bit of post-Champions Cup fatigue. The other thing that happened in 1977, New York's Reggie Jackson loafs after a fly ball. I remember seeing this later on replays on TV. Loafs after a fly ball during a 10-4 loss to Boston. It's taken out by manager Billy Martin. Jackson and Martin nearly come to blows. They have a fight in the dugout as national television cameras roll. There's you can find that on YouTube. It's really funny. Can't stand Reggie Jackson or Billy Martin, so for me, mutual KO would have been preferable.
So we have Vinnie Arons at the plate.
Yes, I can tell you more about Billy Martin. Vinnie Arons is at the plate. .296 hitter. He is 2-2 in the game today. Scored twice. He also has a stolen base. Dirty uniform day. Two out, 6-2 the score. Bottom of the 4th inning. .92 pitches for the pitcher Vedemeyer, who is still on the mound. And it's one of those games.
Yeah, where like everybody is sloppy, like, oh, I throw the ball to the pitcher, oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, it's so exciting.
When they say Dog's Days of Summer, this might define it. Because they are dogging it right now. A bit. Okay, boys, wake up. Come on now. Got a game to finish. It's only the 4th inning.
And a second game coming up.
That's right, 4 o'clock or so. That pitch is fouled, close to the dugout. Regensburg leading Ulm right now. It's only the top of the 1st inning, 1-0. And pop up, that's going
foul.
That's going foul. The other game that's happening right now, Tübingen is beating Mannheim 5-2. That's in the top of the 4th. And here it's 6-2. And as Angela said, there's another game coming up after this one. Do we know what the pitchers for that one will be yet, Angela?
I mean, for the Capitals, I would assume Zach Dodson, but...
We've got a walk. Arons finds himself on base yet again today. So a 2 out. Those 2 out walks will drive a manager mad. But good for the Caps. Langhorst at the plate. He's been walked. He's got a stolen base as well. He's crossed the plate twice. And that's a hit into center field. Center fielder camps under that. He's got it. He had to reach over his shoulder a bit, but that'll put him away. And 3 down. And we'll be right back on Caps TV where the score is 6-2 for Bonn. We'll be right back.
Deine Hut. Kein Vielleicht, kein Morgen, kein Gestern.
Das Talent und das Potenzial ist da.
Versuch es, wie du es noch nie versucht hast.
Hoffe ich doch, dass wir am Schluss dann in Berlin dabei sind.
Spiel für deine Geschichte und die Hut.
Die FIBA Eurobasket 2022. Live bei Magenta TV und Magenta Sport.
Check this out.
It hasn't been such a long time since people first started shopping online, and it was easy to keep up with the clicks. Little by little by little by more, the clicks added up to be more than the stores, and e-tailers worked harder than ever before, because they had to keep up with the clicks. All of a sudden, there are so many must-dos if you want to keep selling, like delivery there, no there, or there.
And make it tomorrow. First thing.
No time for borders. Gotta stay in control to stay in the flow and continue to grow. But we'll help you. Keep up with the clicks.
Check this.
Welcome back to Bonn. Score is 6-2 for the Capitals, the Wild Farmers. Top of the 5th inning. At the plate, number 8, Vesta Bossio. Bossio, 377 average. He's 2 for 2 today. He came across for one of those runs. Hit a single way back in the first. Single in the second, too. Foul back almost where we are. Oh, sounded good. He'll be followed by Matsavicius and Del Muro. 1-1 the count here. Big hit into right field. That's going back, but look who's there. Wilson Lee's got it. Not quite at the warning track, almost. Look good coming off the bat. Number 72 at the plate. That's Matus Vicius, 380. Hitter 1 and 2 today. Came across for one of the runs as well. Only 65 pitches so far for Maurice Wilhelm. He's had a couple quick innings the last 2. 4 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and 1 walk. 5 hits on the day in total for the Wild Farmers.
That was mainly the first inning, right?
Indeed. All that action in the first as that's popped up, and Sanchez, Sanchez, has it at third base. Fly out to right field, fly out to the third baseman. That'll bring up Del Muro. Del Muro is 1 and 2. That's true. Actually, Angela, if you look, it was the first inning alone, and it was the first 4 batters mainly that made things happen, and then nothing happened after that for the Wild Farmers except for 4 errors. in the field. Wilhelm has managed them very well since then. 1-1 count. Big swing and a miss. And Vinny Ernst gets under that one. No problem. Sun gets in his eyes a bit, but that'll end the inning. Or the top half of the fifth. Anyways, we head to the bottom half. 6-2 the score. We'll be right back on Caps TV. Welcome back to Bonn. 6-2 is the score. Bottom of the fifth inning. And at the plate, Eddie Stummel. Eddie Stummel, 0 for 1 today, has a walk. 5 hits for each team. 4 errors, though, for the Wild Farmers. Happy Father's Day again to fathers in North America and, of course, here as well. It's always hard trying to keep those dates in mind, as they're different in both continents. At my house, my wife is Mexican, so Father's Day for her side is on a different day too from the Canadian, the German one. So we got 3 dates to try and remember. We've got a full calendar.
Yeah, the fathers, they take every chance.
Yes, the fathers is listen, look, every other day is Mother's Day, you know?
Oh, you're Canadian, so you don't have Father's Day, right?
No, we do. It's today.
Oh, you have the same as the US?
Yeah, it's Father's Day today. My wife has the flu, so I'm sort of taking care of things, which means I'm here.
So what did your kids do for you?
Well, they forgot, mainly.
Oh, they forgot.
Because in Germany, they wish me Happy Father's Day on the German Father's Day. You know, and that's fine. I won't hold it against them. Just no college. That's fine. No, it's hard to remember all the dates. Pitch on the way. Ooh. He lets it go. It looked good, but Eddie Stummel gets the benefit of the doubt, and down to first base he goes. Guess who? Nick Michelli is at the plate. 1 and 2, RBI and a run today. On deck is Eric Brank, and Wilson Lee is after him. Nobody out. 6-2 the score, bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, they should get something running here.
Yes, let's do it, gentlemen. A little tight with that strike zone today, the umpire is. It's fine. It seems to be working in Bonn's favor so far. Some of those pitches have looked all right. Stummel, football lead down, football stance, I should say, American football stance, down there on first base. I always love watching him take a lead off. It's like you get in between him and second base, you're going down. That's in the dirt. That's 2-1. How long has Eddie Stummel been playing, Angela?
In Bonn or
Yeah.
in general?
Well,
Oh, in Bonn,
yeah.
forever.
Yeah, it seems like he's been around a long time. Gotta love the game. And a hit into
Broken
left
bat.
field. Broken bat, yeah, and it bounces in front of the left fielder. So lucky break, so to speak, for Nick Michelli. It's on first. Stummel on second base. And top of the order, Eric Brank. 1 and 2 today. He also has a walk. That walk came back in the first inning. So nobody out with 2 on. Bonn is looking to add to the score. Big number 30 at the plate. Leads the league in hits and runs. Sharp hit down to third base, and he bobbles it, which will add to the error total. Bases are loaded. Third baseman Del Muro has had a time of it down there today.
Okay, this was a hard hit, so
It was very hard hit, not easy. Manager comes out to have a little chat with Vedemeyer, who's really thrown 106 pitches so far, and it looks like we have a pitching change. I mean, let's take it easy on that arm and that shoulder. And so we'll get back to you with the details as they warm up here. The score is 6-2. And we'll be right back on Caps TV. Welcome back to Bonn. So our researchers have really dug deep, and we found some information on this pitcher. Is Paul Hoff. And Paul Hoff does not have a lot of experience. He has pitched a total of 3 innings this year, 7 walks, 4 strikeouts though, but he's got an ERA of 4.9 in those 3 innings that he's pitched. So Wilson Lee, he comes in to face Wilson Lee at the plate with the bases loaded. Not an easy assignment as that comes in outside. On base is Eric Brink at first, Nick Michelli at second, and Eddie Stummel at third. Wilson Lee is 0 for 2 today, though. He has a walk.
Yeah, we are waiting for his first hit today.
Yeah. I remember one of those pitches looked tasty last inning. He decided to watch come through. We'll see if he's as patient this time. Fans can sense something in the air. There's nobody out, by the way, the bases loaded. Big hit single into left field, and Stummel scores. Nick Michelli's held up at third. Base is still loaded, so it could be worse for Paul Hoff on the mound but only 1 run comes through on that single, but a nice one. 7-2 is the score.
Bases loaded und jetzt Danny Sanchez am Schlag.
Wilson Lee on first base. Nick Michelli on third, and of course Stummel came home to score.
Eric Brink on second, yeah.
Brink on second. Danny Sanchez at the plate, 358. Hitter, etc., etc. 0 for 3 today, with an RBI though. Baseball is not always an easy game to understand. And he has a run and a stolen base. And a hit into right field. Right fielder goes back, he catches it. Tagging is Michelli, and he scores. 8-2 for Bonn. Well, he did what he was supposed to do and get that. He got that run home. Sanchez does. So we got an RBI in that. That long fly ball into right. There's no chance of throwing out Michelli at home. Runners on the corners now. Wilson Lee to stay at first base, but Brink moves down to second. Third. John Schultz at the plate. 1 for 2 today with an RBI and a walk. Paul Hoff, the youngster, on the mound, delivers. And a strike. So Bonn looking to build up a lead here. Maybe hoping to end this game a bit early. Give their players some rest before the next one starts, which will follow this, usually a half hour to 45 minutes afterwards. And a big chopper down to second, just over the head of the runner, and the second baseman bobbles it. Again, what we're seeing on the field today from the Wild Farmers is not pretty at all, and that's all that can be said about that. As another run, Brink comes in to score. All right, if you're going to come to play, come to play. I'm not saying it's easy to get those, but those are both the last 2 errors were fairly routine. So Brink in to score. Wilson Lee's on second. Daniel Lamhunt at the plate. He's had not a great day, though. He's 0 for 3.
Yeah, he needs a hit here.
Yeah. 1 out, 9-2 the score. And a hit into center field. Is it deep enough? He runs back. And
it is deep
gone.
enough.
It is gone. That's a 3-run shot for Daniel Lamhunt. And what were you just saying, Angela?
He needs a hit.
He needs a hit.
He
got a
listens
hit.
to us.
Yes, he listens to you. I think you should say it more often. That's very nice. Nicely done by Daniel Lamhunt. So add 3 to that score.
And here we are now, 12-2.
Indeed. That was just very nice, and it carried out of here. It was a very nice hit. Vinny Aarons to the plate. Now he's also had a great day. 2 for 2, 2 runs. He's got a walk and a stolen base. Only 1 out still. So, Lamb Hunt hit it out to the deepest part of the field. It was straightaway center. Not an easy task in any part. That's got to make him feel pretty good. we were saying that in the previous at-bats he had sort of dribbled them out twice to the pitcher. But that one was a no-doubter. Swing and a miss by Aarons. 2-1. It's not as if the wind brought it out either. Those flags are just hanging limply. Get a bit of a breeze in the booth, but I don't think there's anything happening out in the field. Ooh, that one's inside. Paul Hoff came in with a really tough situation. Tall order facing Wilson Lee with the bases loaded. Wilson promptly singled, and then an error later, and then that 3-run shot. And that's why we have a 12-2 score. And another single. Aarons took a bad bounce just past the second baseman, who throws some dirt in frustration. And he comes around, and why not?
Why not?
Why not? He goes into second base. He sees that the defense is struggling.
And the shortstop anyway missed the ball, so...
Exactly. And the throw back to shortstop misses the ball. If you're Bonn, why not? The Wild Farmers, I mean, look, Bonn's playing great. They're hitting very well, but Wild Farmers are also beating themselves out in the field. 12-2 the score. Easy single turned into a double. I still see, at least on the easy score here, they have 4 errors for the Wild Farmers. I would add 2 to that, but maybe they're taking it easy on them. $11 hits now for Bonn, 5 for the Wild Farmers. That comes in for a strike. Aarons at second. Lankhorst at bat. 286 batter on the season. And 0 for 2 today. But he's also got a walk, and he's come across the score. Lankhorst also has a stolen base. It's a bat around inning now for the Capitals. And there's still only 1 out. That sails in high. So Paul Hoff has thrown only 16 pitches, 3 earned runs off of him, including, again, that 3-run shot by Lamb Hunt. That comes in low, 3-1. Wild Farmers may, before the playoffs, wish to, well, let's not count our playoff chickens before they hatch, but if they were, by any special chance, may wish to take some fielding practice before the next game at least. Fundamentals. a hit.
That
Is
falls
that going to stay fair? No,
outside.
it's foul. Yeah. So Eddie Stummel will follow Langhorst and then Michelli again if we can get to him. Once again, so to review, Aaron's in second base. We have a bat around inning now. That pitch hung out there for a little bit and fouls that back. Don't forget, fans, another game after this one. We'll follow usually about half an hour to 45 minutes after. So players get a little bit of rest in, grab something to eat, and then head back out on the field. And that's called strike, and that's a strikeout now in Langhorst. Langhorst doesn't like it, but off he goes. So that's the first strikeout for Paul Hoff. Eddie Stummel to the plate again. Eddie Stummel 0 for 1 today with a run and 2 walks. On 2 walks, I should say. Vinny Aaronson is still out there at second base. Let's not forget about him. 2 outs. 12 to the score. Big inning here for Bonn. 11 hits now in the game. And that pitch comes in well.
I think it's the second time that Eddie is in this inning, right?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah.
It's a bat around inning, yeah. Getting some extra at-bats. And that's a strike. So 2-1 is the count. Yeah, he began this whole journey in this inning with a walk. That's what started everything off. Came around to score. And a single into right field. And will he come around? No. Held at third base, Aarons is. Nick Michelli to the plate. So that'll be Bunt's 12th hit. Runners on the corners now. Aarons at third. Eddie Stummel at first. Nick Michelli at the plate, 12 to the score. Bottom of the 5th inning. 2 out. Fans wanting more. Do we know when the playoffs start, roughly, Angela?
Yeah, 3rd week of July. So we have till the middle of July. There's the regular round going on,
And that's a strike.
and then the playoffs start with the quarterfinals.
That's right. And Bonn should do, if everything goes according to plan, should do rather well. It's that once they get to the finals that they tend to struggle. Get up over that mental hurdle.
I mean, what we didn't have for the last 2 years because of Corona is that from now on the quarterfinals are against the South.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Corona years we had the North playing quarterfinals and semifinals among themselves, and the
Yes.
South among themselves. And now we are back to normal. So we face when we remain the first seeded, which I would expect.
And that pop up. You never know. He caught it though. And that'll end the inning. Yeah. And
So we'll play the 4th seeded, but this is all very tight in the South now. Nobody knows who that will be. Stuttgart, Haar, or Heidenheim. So
remains to be seen. In any case, here we have finished the top of the 6th inning, head to the bottom of the 6th inning where the score is 12-2. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
Das ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schütz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schütz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps! Das
Pitcherwechsel bei den Caps. Nicht mehr auf dem Mount, der Mann mit der Rücknummer 22. Großen Applaus für unseren Starter, für Maurice Dohren. Jetzt für ihn neu im Spiel mit der Nummer 14, Noah Lind.
Welcome back to Bonn, where Noah Lind gets a big hand. He is coming on for Maurice Wilhelm, who threw 71 pitches today. Had a very good game. Pitched with, I guess, the exception of the top half of the first inning.
First inning was not his.
Yeah, and the rest went very well. Noah Lind, of course, well known to fans this season.
Regular starter this season for the first game.
That's right. He's pitched very, very well.
Obviously, they have given him a break.
Yeah, so 26 innings he's thrown as the umpire.
What's wrong?
Goes out. Has a little chat with Lind. Don't think he's discussing the weather. Must be something in the delivery, or as we'll find out. Get back to you. So Lind on the season has got 2.42 ERA. That's pretty darn good. 42 strikeouts. That's leads the league by a long, well, not by a long shot. Zach Dodson has 37, but doing very, very well, obviously. He's walked 13 on the season. And the umpire, again, is some questions happening, I guess. Yeah, it's sort of hard to tell. It's sort of, we're trying to interpret. You can see what we see as he talks to the coach. He keeps motioning to his mouth, so I think maybe it's his hand going to his mouth. I'm not sure. Unless he's saying, he's thirsty. Who knows? Right. Mike MK at the plate, 0 for 2. Big pop-up behind us. He's 0 for 2 today with an RBI. Little warmer now up here in the booth. It's about 10 degrees warmer than it is outside, but still, very nice day to play baseball. Wow. Talk about being overpowered. Lind whiffs him. He was way behind on that one, so that's one down. First up, first strikeout. And that'll bring up Przemysław I'm trying.
Palu. Przemysław Palu.
Przemysław Palu.
I know it's your favorite name.
For years I've tried to pronounce that name correctly. And I even have it spelled phonetically out on my sheet, and I'm still struggling with it. So, of course, as I say every year, apologies to him. Another swing and a miss. Noah Lind comes in hot. Pavlik is 0 for 2 today. Two one count. And I've got a baseball trivia question for you. It's an easy one. It's also multiple choice. All right. I'll let you go, and then I'm gonna ask Max too. First baseball World Series was held on which year? 1902, 1905, or 1903? Angela first.
1905.
Max, what do you say? Max says 3. Indeed, it was 3. So, was that a guess, Max, or was that your deep knowledge? Yeah, he's nodding.
But you said 1902, 1905.
1902, 1905, or 1903?
Oh, at the end you said 1903.
Yeah, so he went with the last thing he heard, obviously.
Yeah.
So very good. Nice job. 1-0 the count. I got to come up with some harder questions for you guys. Tim Newelke is at the plate. He's wearing number 44. He's 0 for 2 today. First base is Pavlik.
He's on base so that you can
I know.
say his name more often.
Well, he doesn't get on base a lot. He's hitting under 200. So I was thinking, well, maybe he won't be on too much. He's not had an easy day behind the plate either. He's the catcher, of course, for the Wild Farmers, and some of those pitches in the dirt and a few over his head, and he's gotten a workout back there today. Woo, right down the middle, and Newelke was on it and just fouled it back, but that's a nice pitch. Lintz struck one out and walked one already, and so that's way inside, and he swung at it anyway. We saw one of these, he called that?
I don't know.
A ball? He swung at it.
First base on first hit.
Oh, come on. Sorry. We saw this exact play in the Blue Jays-Yankees game last night, actually. And it was the same call. But if the runner swings, the batter swings, then he's out. Anyway, he's out anyway. He flies out to the second baseman stumble. But look, if you swing at the pitch coming in, even if it's a ball, regardless, or it's
a
almost
strike then.
it's a strike.
Even I know that.
Of course you know that.
If you swing, it's a strike if you miss the ball.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, even if it's inside and almost hits you, if you swing first before it hits you, then it's a strike. It's not a hit batter. Yes, I see where my words may have been somewhat confusing. Runner takes his lead. And that's a strike. Alejandro Giraldo is at the plate. Mr. Pavlik is on first base still. Foul back. And a hit. That looks like it's heading foul into left field. Is it?
It's foul.
It's foul. Hard to see from our vantage point here. 0 for 2. 0 and 2 count. So it remains to be seen who's going to pitch the second game. Some guesses up here include Zach Dodson, who seems to be the natural choice. We'll see. We'll have to confirm that. 12-2 the score here. Top of the 6th inning. Swing and a miss, and that'll end the inning. 2 strikeouts and a walk by Noah Lint. 12-2 the score. We'll be right back.
Guys, let's go. Let's go.
All right, here we go. It's our own
Come on, get some juice on it.
pre-7th inning stretch, also called the 6th inning. Here in Bonn, bottom of the 6th
Bottom
inning.
of the 6th, yeah.
12-2 the score. Eric Brank at the plate. 2 for 3 on the day today with a run and a walk included in that jambalaya. Big hit into left field. Will it stay fair?
It will stay fair.
Oh,
It's a home run.
It is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, that got out of here in a hurry. And a home run by Eric Brank to make it 13-2. That was very nice. The only question, because it disappears a bit into the corner from our vantage point, we weren't sure if it stayed fair or not, but indeed it did.
It was just right of the yellow pole there.
Very nice by Eric Brank. Single shot. Nice for the fans. And Wilson Lee comes up. He had a very important single in his last at-bat with the bases loaded. He welcomed Paul Hoff into the game, somewhat unceremoniously, I suppose. And a broken bat into the center, and it drops in front of the center fielder, who apparently was
stopped running.
Who was not in any hurry to get that ball. I'm sorry. It's hard to describe it in fair terms when the other team is sort of booting the ball out in the field and not really hustling at all to get to them. I mean, we saw this the second baseman in the last inning, now the center fielder. It's like this half-hearted attempt to even bother playing. It's going to be a very difficult playoffs for the Dohren Wild Farmers.
Yeah, we are not sure if they reach them.
If they reach them, of course.
We have Hamburg and Berlin. So
what happened to Berlin, Angela? They were playing well at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, but actually they were playing well, especially because Enobel Marquez was pitching so well, and his pitching is not as good as at the beginning of the season.
The batters are figuring him out. So yeah, Wilson Lee got a single, courtesy of the center fielder. Danny Sanchez is at bat. 0 for 3, 2 RBIs, a run and stolen base. Wind is picked up, just blowing straight away. No, you don't want to pile on necessarily if you're Bonn. However, you also want to maybe limit the game, and that single comes through. Lee on to second. But when you see the other team not necessarily hustling out there, you have a right to build up that score. John Schultz at bat. 2 for 3, 2 RBIs. Run and a walk. John Schultz. Keep calling him Joe. I'm not sure. We had a Joe last year, of course.
Yeah, what?
Joe and John. Different names, of course.
He's John.
Yes, I keep calling him Joe by accident.
And he has Schultz. He has a German last name.
That is very German last name.
Yeah.
Oh, another single up the middle. So you gotta feel a bit for Paul Hoff.
Oh, and now Wilson has to run. Wow.
Wilson, oh come now. He got there eventually at home plate.
Oh, come on, guys.
Yes, I know. The ball was thrown back to the infield and sort of thrown through the infield.
We have now a new hitter. This is Lennart Weller, obviously coming in for Daniel Lempan.
Yes, that's right. After that 3-run homer by Lampunt, he's taken out. Lennart Weller. Right. On that, so runners now on second and third. Wilson Lee saunters home, and that really is the best description of him coming home. Sanchez is
third,
at
yeah.
third. Great. Okay, he's hidden there by the coach. And of course, now 1 second, John Schultz. And Vela at the plate. 14-2 the score. And you guessed it, nobody out. Bonn can sort of end this game. If you're up by 15 runs, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's Bonn's intention at this point. Let's get this one over with, because the other team does not seem to be too interested in being out on that field right now. Again, not easy for Hoff to come in. He literally pitched 3 innings before he came on today's game, so you can't place the blame on him. Yeah, a little bit maybe. But he doesn't have a lot of pitching experience on the year, or I think in general he's a young guy. That pitch comes in for a strike. (14-2) the score. Bottom of the 6th. 3-1 the count. Nobody out. And he takes a walk. Bases loaded now for
Vinny Aarons. He's the right guy for that.
He seems to be up all the time.
Vinny Aarons had this grand slam walk-off home run in the first game at the Champions Cup.
Right.
We were 3-2 behind,
Okay.
in the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th. We were 3-2 behind. We had bases loaded, and he had a walk-off grand slam home run.
Beauty. That's so nice.
Okay, maybe he does it. Do it again. Come on, Vinny.
There you go. Come on now. He wanted it. It's into right field, though, and that's going to the fence. That's going to clear the bases. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. And stays at third base. So that was a very nice hit by Aarons into right field, scoring a couple of runs there. 16-2 now the score.
Okay, one more, right? I guess so. I think after 15 it's over.
My scorecard is looking a bit like it's a mess. I don't know any other way to put that. So at the plate, Danny Lankhorst, who is 0 for 3 officially, but with a walk and stolen base. I think 1 more run does it.
I think so,
And there's nobody out.
The difference to the game that they played in Dohren was 29-3. The reason was that it was so high was because we were the away team. So we had the 29 scores, and then they had to hit afterwards.
I see.
This is why it didn't stop after 15 ahead.
Yeah. So on second base is Aarons. On first base, okay, sorry.
Vela.
Vela is on third. Aarons is on second. And a single into right. And the center fielder just lets it go by him and goes to the fence. And the game is called. That's it. So that's the game. I've seen finer defensive efforts, but Bonn certainly came out swinging. Very strong second half to the game.
I would need to know if the scores now still count. I have no idea. Because it was still a hit. I think the scores count. That would be 19-2.
That would be 19-2 if they all count, because that, it went to the wall. Let's call it 19-2 for now.
And the scorer will let us know.
And it will let us know officially. What we do know is that the game is over. Bonn has won handily. Not a great defensive effort by the Wild Farmers. I hope you guys get a second. I hope the coach has a little chat with them, and there's a second game.
And of course the second game will be earlier, before 4 o'clock, so we have a little bit more than half an hour probably. I assume about 4 o'clock we will start.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Angela and Max and Fabian and everybody for watching. Please do tune in for the second game. For now, I'm Brent Kerrigan, and we wish you a good afternoon. Bye-bye.